I've made millions building one of the top insurance businesses in the country, and I've hired some of the most talented people that you could imagine. People with an IQ north of 140, and people who are natural-born closers. But most of them failed because they all believed the lie that talent is a gift for them. It tells them that they're special and that they can win without much effort. But then, suddenly, life gets hard and talent disappears. That's why I don't see talent as a gift. I see it as a curse. And by the end of this video, you will too. We all know talent gives you a certain advantage in life. A kid with a high IQ doesn't need to study as much to pass the test, so they don't. A naturally gifted athlete doesn't train as hard as everybody else. Why? He or she doesn't have to. A musician with a good ear who picks up music instantly, they stop practicing at the hard stuff. Talent gives you early wins. You get some praise, and then you think, I got this all figured out. It essentially gives you a head start, but this is exactly what makes talent dangerous, because a head start is not the finish line. Because when you start winning without effort, you get lazy. You get comfortable, and comfort is the enemy of growth. This concept is also backed by a 14-year study by Karen Arnold at Boston College. They followed 81 high school valedictorians, and they found that they rarely became CEOs or innovators or industry leaders because their early talent didn't prepare them to perform at later stages of their life. Why? Because early success made them play it safe. They never learned how to compete when things got hard. They never learned how to think creatively. They got by on just following the rules and doing what they were told to do. They don't build habits. They don't study the game. They don't learn how to fight for a win because they never had to. Then one day, the game changes. The market shifts. The leads dry up. You get punched in the mouth. And then all of a sudden, all that talent disappears. I've seen it so many times firsthand. Recruits who come in hot up in 1 month and they get crushed by month 3 because they never learned how to lose. So when they finally did, they crumbled. And you know who survives? The ones who had to work hard. The ones who stumbled at the start. The ones who had to build that muscle just to stay in the game. The ones who built grit and creativity and became resistant under pressure. Those are the traits that win the game long term, because talent makes you sharp, but struggle makes you strong. And when you struggle, you develop work ethic and persistence and problem-solving skills. And in the real world, these skills last longer than talent any day. But we all know that society only rewards people who have an extraordinary level of talent. And if you're talented, they will celebrate you. They'll obsess over you. The world rolls out the red carpet for you. That's just what happens on the surface. Talent doesn't just delay your growth, it deletes it. You skip the hard lessons. You avoid failure. You never really develop that muscle that you need when the pressure hits. So when the game changes, and it always does, you got no reps, you got no resilience, just raw instinct that doesn't work anymore. When things come easy, you stop looking for what could go wrong. You skip the hard questions, you ignore the feedback, and you don't try and improve yourself, because why would you change what's already working, right? That's how talent traps you. First, it stays hidden, and gradually it grows in the dark. I've seen talented people walk into leadership roles and collapse. Why? The only reason: they never built the systems, they never documented anything, they never learned how to coach others because they couldn't even explain how they were winning. It was all instinct. The win, praise, the effort, everything was already given to them naturally. But instinct doesn't scale. And when life finally hit them hard, they had nothing to recover, only because they had no process, no habits, no resilience. They never learned how to fight, so they just started to panic. They never know how to come back stronger from rock bottom. That's why most young prodigies, they fade. You remember them in high school. The star athlete, straight A's, college scholarship. But now, if you look at them in life, they're stuck. They couldn't even show up for themselves because talent couldn't carry them anymore. Meanwhile, the so-called average ones got better every month because they asked for help. They learned, they evolved, they took notes, they built those tools, they got the routines that made up for what they didn't have naturally. And slowly, they passed the talented people. Then they left them behind. Now look at Michael Jordan. He was cut from his high school basketball team. He wasn't the most talented, but he was the most obsessed. He trained when no one was watching. He learned how to win under pressure. That's why he became the best. You see, the most dangerous people in any field are the ones who evolve, who fix their weaknesses, and who get better like even 1% every day. These are the people with no special talent, but their biggest focus is to improve each day and become the best version of themselves so they can rule over talented people. If you look at the flip side, naturally gifted high school stars fade by college because they never learned how to struggle, how to grind, and how to make the biggest comeback of their lives. That's what I call a talent curse. It hides what you're not building. By the time you realize it, it's already too late. So if talent can't save you, what does? What actually builds winners, especially when the pressure is on? It's the one thing that talent can never replace. When you're told that you're gifted, you start to believe it. You build your identity around it. I'm the smartest one. I'm the fastest. I'm the best. And that works until something drastic happens, until someone beats you, until the thing that always came easy to you suddenly doesn't. And now you fail. And now you're lost. If you're not the talented one anymore, who are you? But instead of asking this question, you try to hide it. You try to avoid problems, tough feedback, and the real growth. Because you've not exposed yourself to the real challenges in life, you've not faced real failure. So you don't even know what it feels like and how to get going again when the setbacks come. This is why resilience and discipline beats talent every time. Look at the biggest winners. Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was not a great actor, not a great politician, but he reinvented himself again and again and again. And now he went from being a bodybuilder to a movie star and to becoming governor. All of this is not because of talent, but because of resilience. You'll see school dropouts becoming billionaires only because they had resilience. They had the ability to keep going when things got tough. Stanford research calls this the growth mindset, the belief that it is the effort that leads to success and not just natural ability. Stanford research on the fixed versus growth mindset also proves that people who believe in effort over innate ability go much further in their lives. This is why the best entrepreneurs, athletes, and leaders aren't necessarily the most gifted. They're the ones who never gave up. And here's where it all breaks down. If all you've ever relied on is talent, then one day when it finally stops working, you'll have nothing left. And that's exactly what happened to one of the smartest kids that I ever met. I knew a kid with an IQ over 140. He was sharp, brilliant. Everything came easy for him. He never studied for tests, but still got straight A's. He never trained that hard, but still made the team. Teachers, parents, everyone in his circle praised him. His whole life, people said, "You're going to be someone great." And he believed it. I mean, why wouldn't he? He was always the best. But then life hit him. He didn't get the job he thought that was guaranteed. Startup failed. Confidence cracked. For the first time, he had to try. For the first time, he wasn't enough. And he didn't know what to do because talent had got him this far. But talent couldn't carry him anymore, and he failed. This is exactly why 70% of lottery winners go broke, because they never learned how to handle money. This is why Navy SEALs aren't picked based on athletic talent. They're picked based on who refuses to quit during Hell Week. Real life challenges don't care how talented you are. They care if you can survive. Look at the biggest geniuses in history. Nikola Tesla died broke. So did Edgar Allan Poe. They were brilliant, but had no leverage, no system, and no backup plan. Meanwhile, Sam Walton built Walmart from scratch. Jeff Bezos started Amazon in the garage. They weren't the smartest, but they adapted and they endured and they learned. That's the difference. Talent makes you think you're special. Struggle reminds you that you're not. And when you stop acting special, you start doing what actually works. Because in the real world, success doesn't go to the most gifted. If you're willing to work harder, learn faster, and adapt better, you will outperform most of the gifted competitors. Talent means nothing if you aren't willing to go to work. So the decision is on you. If you're talented, don't get fooled by your natural ability. Instead, take advantage and build yourself to adapt and evolve and accept failures. And if you want to really win in life, I'm here to help you. Go to agentholbrook.com, book a private one-on-one call with me, and let's chat about how I can help you and we can work together. I'll see you on the other side.